Good morning, Captain.
Welcome, welcome.
So, we are compulsive walkers because we are in the middle of monsoon. We are here at Carter Road.
But we're enjoying the fresh breeze.
Yes, it's beautiful weather.
That's right.
And now we are on the 19th episode.
Yeah.
Please.
I want to go back a little.
Okay.
When I left Oman, I was 56, not 66, as I said before.
Okay.
Another thing is that when I was doing small boats in Bombay Harbour, it Kihim River
Yeah,
for a
I
brief
remember.
time. I remember once this small boat I had had gone to Alexander Dock for inspecting the bottom. So that time I was doing minor repairs there. I was there for about 10 days or something. And one gentleman came when I was distributing the work order to the repairers. One gentleman came and he said he has been told to recharge all the fire extinguishers on the ship. And so I told the chief officer to show him all the fire extinguishers. After 1 hour, he came back to my cabin and stood when everybody had gone, and he stood in my doorway. And he said, "You know, I'm Ishwarai's father." I said, what is she doing now? "Oh, she's going to be an actress. She's going to act in films." I said, "I don't know about her acting, but I know you're a good producer." Suddenly I blanked out. He ran away from there. Before that, I'd seen Ishwaraya when she was 3-year-old on 17th Road, where a lot of my relatives were there. And I looked back. She looked so striking, you know.
Wow.
And the second time I saw her was coming back from train at the car station. There also, she was worth looking second time. Like,
Oh,
you know.
really?
You're
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember
I
that.
can imagine.
And then, now that I had gone to Saudi Arabia, the life before the army took over was so strict. A lot of police were the local, called them Rafiq. We used to
Rafiq.
call them Rafiq. Rafiq means kind man. And
Okay.
because they were so fearsome. Nobody were allowed to photograph and all. And I had never seen a foreign people, you know. And we never saw a woman's face. It was always covered on the road. And I remember on the Friday at 1 o'clock, everybody used to go for, all the workers under me used to go for namaz. I saw a Saudi manager who was also in the port sitting next to me. I said, why you have not gone for namaz? Everybody has gone. Oh, they are hypocrites. They are converts. I was shocked. Another thing I saw was if they were beheading people for doing serious crimes and all, they used to do it on a Friday. I went once and I was told they was going to behead. So I went to see that gruesome thing. I saw how they come. After the namaz, Friday namaz is over, everybody gathers outside the mosque, and one black van and another white van comes. The black has got the man who's going to be. He comes out, he's taken out, and he's like a drugged man, you know, he doesn't know what he's doing. So he's told to sit down, he does whatever you tell him. And he just sits down with his head down. The fellow who's going to behead him comes white car and goes and just one stroke and he's into prison. And the body wriggles. And the fellow from the black van, he picks up in a black bag, the body is wriggling, he just picks it up and the hair and just take it away.
You saw the scene.
Yes, I saw that. And when I talk to you, that horrible thing.
And how many people were watching that?
Oh, there were at least 200 people watching. Or everybody from mosque gathers to see. No. And also another thing I saw that time, a lot of people had lost their left hand. So I asked the Saudi manager, you know, I said, how come lives? I see a lot of people, when they steal something, the judge asks them, with which hand you have stolen. You know, people normally say left hand, so they used to chop the left hand. So these are the gruesome side.
And this was 19?
This was 1989.
1989?
90, early 90.
1990, it was that brutal.
It was so brutal. As I told you, when I came around here, they said, why the Hindu? Why not Muslim? I had 4-5 Indian pilots, you know, and one of them was Sardar. He was caught taking a whiskey out from the ship, and he was put in jail. I thought so I was, because they were under me, I was little concerned, so I used to go and see him every alternate day in the prison, you know, how he was doing. Then he was shunted out of Saudi Arabia. I told the Indian embassy there. Then they came and they got him out and they sent out. It was so bad that time. Oh. And then these people came. So when this happened,
Then the Americans came.
Americans came. When the American comes, when they every day, as I told you what happened with the British, every day we used to have a meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning. All the British, the Americans, the Saudis, they used to all sit down with me, and we used to discuss what is going to happen, what ships are going to come, which berth we are going to do, all those things. You know,
Schedule for the day.
schedule for them. One time, what happened after that incident with me with the British Army? One day I had went at 11 o'clock because something I had to tell them, and I opened the door, and I left it, and suddenly it was spring door. It banged back. So I looked back. It was written on the, "Be careful, Captain Kumar is here." It was written there. And whenever they had problems, British Army, London used to tell them, "Go to Captain Kumar, he'll solve your problem."
Oh. So you had quite a reputation.
Quite a reputation. That was what it. And the harbour was ringed with patriotic tanks. You know, and the women were also driving. So these Rafiks, the police, they were shocked.
Scandalized.
There are no burqa, and they are driving cars. They were like men. They started looking. They were shocked. You know,
Yeah, I can
first
imagine.
time their eyes were open to the world. They had never been out. They are not. We were all very afraid of them. You know, so this was happening that time, and then it went on for 6 months. Then the wars, all their fighting was started over there. Once they got all the equipment and all
In Kuwait.
in Kuwait. There was one more thing. During the peace time, one launch used to come. You know, it used to come from Kuwait. I was told not to touch it. Later on, I found that was all liquor for the governor of Jubail. And he was from the royal family.
So they drank and had very.
No, I came to know later on. So anyway, one day this thing came. You know, when the war started, there was a lot of commotion. One day in the night, there was a big bang. We all got up. All our windows, glass was shattered. So the marine controller in the tower called me, "Sir, there's a missile which has come inside the port, and it has just missed the ship discharging bombs." You know? And there's a lot of confusion. All ships are talking. I said, "Record it. What is happening? Record it. I'll hear it in the morning." So 6 o'clock in the morning, I went. I put the tape on. In that thing, it was said one ship is telling the other, "It is all clear on CNN now," because they're so confused talking to each other. So it was a very embarrassing thing because these people didn't know, and we had low radar, high radar to spot anything coming. You know, I called my president of the port. I said, "What has happened?" Next day, 4 generals came to hear the tape, how they had missed the missile and what was happening. It was very shameful that was CNN telling them it's all clear now. At the same time, I got a call from my wife because she came to know in India that the missile in the port.
And the generals here didn't know.
They came to hear the tape, and then they said, "What can we do for you?" I said, "I have enough decorum here. I don't need any more." That's what happened. They were so embarrassed with that. And then the war went on, and they won the war. Another thing was, all these British people working at lower rank, soldiers used to come and show me letters. You know, they wanted me to read. They didn't even know how to read. That's so beautiful. And the wife writing, "Believe me, you have a son now," and he had not seen his wife for 2 years. I believe
These
you.
American and British soldiers didn't know how to read.
No, not American, the British.
The British,
Yes.
they did not know how to read.
I was surprised. They would ask me to read their love letters from their wives.
Oh.
And they had not seen them for 2 years or something. You know, they were from somewhere. So, and that fellow telling
That's
me,
amazing.
I said, when did you last year? I said 2 years back. I was being, I said, but I do believe her that she's got a nice dog. That was an embarrassing thing to see, that they are asking me to read their letters. You know. This is one of the.
That is a very interesting incident.
Yeah. So this went on, won the war, you know, and then it was slowly, gradually they took. They left the equipment Kuwait only. They didn't take it back. I thought they will come and take it, but they didn't take it back and all. Again, it was this. The governor of Jubail called me for a lunch. So I went to his lunch. He was very happy that I was there, you know, because I was known then. The fellow who went through the war. His nice, westernly dressed girl was sitting next to him, you know, in a fashionable way. And she was sitting and I was sitting. First time I saw a woman's face. And I thought, you know, it was so. Then he said, "What will you have?" I said, "Anything." He opened the full of all liquors. And gin and tonic.
So much for Islam.
Yes, gin and tonic. After that, they served some fish and all. So I ate fish. After that, finishing the meal, the lady came near me and she stood. So he said, the governor said, she wants to put scent on your hand because it may be stinking.
Oh.
Can you believe this? This is what I saw.
Amazing.
Everything went back to normal. The sport started buzzing. Then I told the port, the employer who had gone. I said, look, I've finished my 2 years here now. This place doesn't suit me, so I have to go back. Then I flew back to India, picked my wife, and it was 92. By that time, it was 92. See, 92. I came back to Bombay, and then I went because my first grandchild was being born. I went to America.
Okay. So we'll take it on further from there.
This is a letter of appreciation from the US Navy to Captain Kumar for exemplary conduct and cooperation during the Iraq-Kuwait War while he was in charge for the Jubail port at Saudi Arabia.